What is going on, guys? How are you guys doing today? My name is Tony Chow, also known as Saskio. So who the hell am I? I'm that guy who got to platinum playing Draven Yumi with his feet, also known as that collegiate guy, and if not, just a random NA solo queue player. But, regardless of all that, today we'll be discussing how to carry from jungle. Arguably one of the worst roles right now, in my opinion. So, let's hop right into it today. Where's the Zoom link? Oh man. Alright. Let's hop right into it. Are you doing customs in EU soon? I will be doing I'll look to do customs in EU next week. I want to set up my own EU account and then we can do it from there next week. But today we'll be doing NA again after I do my jungle lesson in the custom game. So, let's just pick a standard jungler right now. So I'll be discussing general pathing that you want to be doing early on, and then I'll be discussing how to play the game out, transitioning into the early part of the mid game, and then into mid game, and into later game. So it doesn't matter what runes I run, I'll just lock in and go right into it. Shaco pathing? Shaco pathing, while the pathing isn't that hard, it's the initial part when the jungle camps first spawn that is hard to manage. Not hard, but it's like you need to set up X amount of boxes on this camp, and then X amount of boxes on the camp that's going to spawn, which is usually Krugs or Gromp, and then try to transition to that as you kill the first camp. So that's generally like the hardest thing on Shaco, but in my opinion, it really isn't that hard. As long as you get a leash from your AD carrying support, and they don't take your buff that you're doing, then you should be fine. Which junglers are good to main? You can main anything that is meta right now, which includes Jarvan in my opinion, Olaf, Karthus, I like Elise, and then I see Graves right now. So those are some pretty good junglers right now. Lee Sin. Yeah, you can play Lee Sin, but you need to make sure that when you play Lee Sin, you need to be influencing the map. I mean, you should be influencing the map anyways on all your other junglers, but you actually really need to do something on Lee Sin. And if you fall behind, you're kind of just an insect bot at that point, but that's a situation that you don't really want to get into on that champion. So personally, I don't like to recommend Lee Sin to newer players. But alright, jungling today. So, most of you guys don't know me as an AD player, but back in my day, in 2017, I actually played jungle on a team with Chris, Alex each, Prototype, and Papa Chat. And we almost won the open qualifiers to get into the Challenger Series. But I got out jungled, and we lost. But anyways, that's besides the point. Alright, let's discuss pathing today. So, when it comes to jungle pathing, if you don't know what to do, just go with the standard nowadays, which is you get your leash from your bot lane, and then you just path upwards towards top side. So, what that looks like is probably red if you're on blue side, and then probably blue if you're on red side. Obviously, sometimes there are some outlier champions where you shouldn't be doing this, and you should be starting the opposite side camp. Sometimes you can start Raptors, but generally it is okay on most champions to start bot side if you really don't know how to path on your champion. So if you want to go a little bit deeper on where you believe you should be pathing, you should always try to be pathing towards the side that has an easy gank setup. So these champions include like Renekton early on. They can include Jace for kill setup, things in that nature. So that's what you want to be looking for in your solo queue games. I think that's the easiest way to path in lower level gameplay, but obviously in high elo gameplay it's completely different because you need to play around the lanes that you can get priority on so that you can look for more aggressive plays inside the enemy jungle. And then a lot of things come into play. Do you win the 2v2 top? Do you win 2v2 mid? 3v3 bot? There's a lot of little things that you need to be worrying about when you're pathing in higher elo. But for now, we're just going to keep it simple and generally just path towards top side and then look for the top or mid play if you can do that. Change scenes? Oh no. I did it again. But we didn't lose anything. I actually didn't do anything, so it doesn't matter. All the information I just said still stands. I did it again today. I did it yesterday and last week. But the good thing is this time I actually didn't do anything on the screen, so it really doesn't matter. But anyways, just quick reminder. Generally, when you're on blue side, you want to start on red buff if you don't know how to path. And then if you're on red side, this side, you want to start on blue buff and you want to path towards top lane. And then you can figure out what you want to do from there. So the first things that you want to look at, so obviously you do your red buff, right? You kill red, red's gone. You usually do Krugs, Krugs is dead. And then you go path towards top side. And then you do your blue buff. And then you're generally level 3 here. So after this, here are the things that you want to look at the most after this point. So after you take your double buffs and your level 3, you have to look at top lane and mid lane priority. If your top laner and mid laner are being pushed in, you do not contest top scuttle crab, because what's going to end up happening is you're going to start doing it, and the enemy jungler walks in, and all the enemy team has to do now is send their top laner, who has the push on your top laner, to come, their mid laner to come, and then you get pushed out, or you're just going to die if you fight. So what you would end up doing is you reroute your path that goes towards bot lane. So what you would do is you would do Gromp, Wolves, and then path towards bot Scuttle Crab, where in theory you should have bot priority, because I'm assuming with the picks that happen top and mid, that should mean bot has priority. But even in most cases, even if they don't have priority and you have 3 losing lanes somehow as a jungler, then you should still be able to get bot Scuttle Crab, just because their jungler was just topside, and I don't think most junglers would path crab to crab. That usually doesn't happen in lower level gameplay. They'll usually do the crab, they'll look for a gank or something, and then retreat back into the jungle to finish the one camp that's still left up on that side that they finished on. So, but let's say, so a lot of the things I'm talking about right now will be a lot of theory-based, not theory-based, but it'll be like things that I can't show, because jungle, you need like an actual game to look at to be able to go off of. So a lot of the things I'll be discussing is just, you just have to kind of imagine it in your head and go with it. And then obviously I'll discuss it more as the game, the custom game that we're doing later on, actually plays out. So well, let's say you're pathing from bot to top, right? And your jungler like does have priority, or it's like a strong lane. Then you can enter the top side, do the Scuttle Crab, and then you generally want to look for a gank on that side. Because if your jungler has like, if your top laner has slight priority, then you should be able to secure the crab, and then you can look to path. So let's say you did red, Krugs, blue buff, and then you secured top Scuttle Crab because maybe top lane has priority, right? And then the enemy jungler doesn't even come in. Then, after you do the crab, you can look to walk in. And from this point, when you walk in, if top lane is ungankable, what you can do instead, since you've already like put yourself on the side of the map, is you can enter their Krugs. And if their Krugs are up, you can obviously do it because your top laner can assist you if you run into the enemy jungler. And if the Krugs are down, then you can just reset and then path towards bot side. Either way works. But the point is you want to be using the priority of the lanes to be able to find your own advantage as a jungler. Like let's say top lane doesn't have priority, but your mid laner has priority, right? Then what you can do is after crab, you can look to walk in, see if their raptors are up. Take the raptors, like pull them to this area right here, and then start doing it, and then take the raptors and walk away, and then repath back to your bot side. And what this does is, the point of jungle, in my opinion, I'm going to look at this from a high level gameplay, is to use your lane priorities to be able to find advantages that don't require directly ganking a lane to try to get a kill. Like you'll notice in competitive gameplays, people don't gank for kills anymore. It happens not that often. It only happens when after like a jungle fight has happened and then someone has burnt flash already, and then you can look for those ganks. But it generally happens. What generally happens is people will gank for priority, so they'll come in, they'll fire off their abilities, and then try to get them low or try to get them to retreat, and then move into the jungle and steal stuff away. It's more objective based and camp based for jungle in higher level gameplay, which is what you can look to do early on if you can't find your ganks, your direct ganks, in your games. But in most cases, I will say this. In lower level gameplay, it's very easy to find direct ganks on lanes because generally people don't respect your pathing early on. Like nowadays, I've already talked about this for my stream I did yesterday for top lane, is you should know exactly where the enemy jungler is for the first 3 to 4 levels because they generally do 3 camps. They'll do their blue, their grump, probably wolves, and then even red, and then they'll look to gank top. And then I obviously discussed like how you can counter this, like where you do the 3-wave push, and then you try to bait the enemy jungler to actually ganking you and fighting you in your big minion wave. So And how you can apply this to jungle is you should know exactly where the enemy jungler is early on. You should look at who comes out late from leashing when you're doing your camps. So let's say you start red buff, right? And then you notice, okay, their bot lane's bot lane right away, and their top laner came out pretty late, like same time as your bot lane. Then you know that the enemy jungler started top, and that they're probably gonna be pathing bot lane. That's the most logical way that most junglers should go. They won't like do some weird cross gank into your side of the jungle. So that's something that you should be paying attention to and pathing around it smartly to be able to secure the first crab very safely. So let's talk about quick cheesing stuff, and then we'll talk about general setup for the push vision, push execute for objectives, and then talk about later game objective control. So just a quick reminder, keep in mind guys, early on, let's reset this game here. What you can look to do is a lot of high level junglers are currently buying their normal stuff. They'll come out, and what they'll do is they'll ward for an early cross cheese on like your buffs. So very common champions to see cross like buff steals is Jarvan, Kindred, because they're able to easily get over walls. And like you can really do it on any champion, but those are just the easiest ones because they can get over something really quickly. So a very common cheese is they would do red. So let's say on the Jarvan on red side, right? I'd do red and I'd EQ over Baron Wall and then go to blue. But how you should be looking to counter that is you want to ward early on. So generally a ward that I personally like to place when I'm playing jungle on blue side and I'm starting red buff, which is over here, right? Is I like to ward in this general area right here. And now what this ward allows me to do is it will spot if I get like quick cheese. Like they'll do their buff and then they jump over the wall and then now they show my ward. And if they do some weird routing where they go through here, I'll still see it. And then right after I place my ward at roughly 58 seconds, I will instantly reset and I'll grab the sweeper. Notice how my ward is at 2 minutes and 46 seconds before I can use another one. But if you switch to red trinket, it goes instantly on cooldown, and then you get your new sweeper, which is your new trinket, in like 20 seconds. And then what that allows you to do now is you'll go to your camps, yada, you'll do your red, you'll do your Krugs, and then it opens you up to doing early cheese ganks, and then it opens you up to sweep when you walk into your jungle, so that you make sure you're not being cheesed or something along those lines when you enter your top side. So like you can do red here, and then you can do Krugs, and then you can turn on your sweeper as a level 2 Jarvan when you're right here, and then boom, you're in. You go in, and then you can look for the gank, and if not gank, then you can use that priority from your bot lane, because here's the thing, is when you do this, right, and you can't gank, that means your bot lane has priority. If your bot lane has priority, that means you can invade. So you should ping your bot lane to be ready to move when you enter this side of the jungle, because now you'll be able to invade. They'll probably have their blue gone, maybe their Gromp gone, and you can look to like if they started topside, then you can definitely steal away one of these buffs. And if not, then you can just path back upwards. Because the point of this is this early cheese from Jarvan, or just like any general jungle in general, like you can do this on Olaf, maybe in Kindred, is you secure 2 camps for yourself. You pressure bot lane side already, which is really good because now you should in theory have control over Dragon over the next 4 minutes because of this early path. And then now you can look to steal buffs away. If they're all gone, that's fine. You reroute your pathing towards mid lane. But in my opinion, in most cases, it does work out where you'll do red buff, you'll do Krugs, you'll sweep, you'll find no wards, and then you'll just pop in for a gank bot lane. And then you'll secure a kill because you're Jarvan. You're pretty strong early on. So that's like some things that you can look to do early on champions that have decent like kill pressure at level 2. So yeah. Now, one that people won't see coming often is the red side to blue buff cheese. So you'll do your red buff. And once you do your red buff, you have red buff, and you should look to instantly EQ over this wall. If you're Kindred, you can Q over the wall. Or if you're any champion, it doesn't matter. You can generally just walk like this, and then walk through here. And then now what you do is you just walk through here, and then just steal away the blue buff, and then just run away. And then now you path back towards your bot side of the jungle. So you'll do your raptors. If you're a champion that can do raptors, then you'll do it. If not, you'll run straight to your wolves, and then do your blue buff. And then the enemy jungler will finally come to their blue buff, and they'll be like, oh my god, where did my blue? and then you successfully pull off a cheese. And keep in mind what I talked about earlier, is you place your ward at roughly 56 seconds, and as you like reset, you buy a red sweeper. So right here, you would come out, stand here, place a ward here, like so maybe start channeling your reset at 52 seconds, place your ward at 55 or 56, and then you finish off your reset, grab red sweeper, do your red buff, and if your champion can't go over the wall, you turn on your sweeper as you're walking through here, and then you steal their buff away. And sometimes you can even do this without having top or mid lane priority, so it's a really cheesy play that you can look to do early on to get your steals off. And generally this only works on red side because most junglers on this side will start red buff. So like let's say you're red and you start blue and you try to steal red, it's not going to work because they probably started red buff. This could work on blue side where you start blue and then you invade with your blue buff into the red. But the issue with that is now you're invading with blue buff and it's kind of weird. So you do the camp much slower. So I personally don't like doing that. This is just like a more red side cheese. But again, you go back to that cheese I talked about earlier where you do the red, Krugs, sweep bot, and then gank for prio or gank for kill. And then you can look to invade from there or go back to your raptors and then farm those. So those are like some really quick early cheeses that you can look to do on a lot of your junglers to generate early leads and advantages for your team. And obviously, try to steal the kill, by the way, as much as you can. That's how you're going to carry. But alright, let's answer some questions real quick. What do you think is Kindred's spot currently? Could I reach gold plat with them? Yes. Kindred, there's an extra layer on top of Kindred. You need to be wary of where your potential marks can be and play around that. So, like, let's say you do standard pathing, right? Let's say you do red, Krugs, and then you go to blue buff. And then Scuttle Crab spawns by this time. Maybe after Grump. Now, there's two things that could happen. Scuttle's on your side, and you have priority. And then you can obviously just take it, right? Or Scuttle Crab spawns on your side that you end at, but you don't have priority. You need to give it up. Now, no matter what happens, if you are on the side where Scuttle Crab does not spawn on Kindred, you need to go to the opposite side. But what you do on the opposite side is you don't do the Scuttle Crab right away. You try to set up vision, if you still have your yellow ward, by the way. If not, you try to control vision or gank a lane for priority, and then you wait for Kindred's marker to switch to the other Scuttle Crab. And once the marker switches to the other Scuttle Crab, then you finally secure it to get your first marker on Kindred. That's a lot of things that high elo Kindred players do in order to secure their first mark so that they can work towards that 4 mark power spike. But keep in mind, this only works if you can get priority with one of the lanes on the side that the Scuttle Crab will spawn, where the marker will spawn next, assuming that the worst case scenario happened where you weren't able to secure the initial Scuttle Crab right off the bat. And generally, you should still be able to do it if you gank a lane for priority or even for kill at that point. So that's something you want to look to do when you're playing Kindred, is be very mindful of the first Scuttle Crab. How do I rush Dragon Bro? Alright, this is a good one. That is exactly what I want to talk about. So remember this early cheese, red Krugs, and then bot. And what should happen now is you gank bot, and you probably got summoners. Now you want to abuse this in rough. You have 5 minutes to abuse this. So obviously you're gonna make the gank. You probably get a kill, if not flashes, and then you do bot Scuttle Crab. And then from there you're gonna look to reset, enter your top side, and secure whatever camps the enemy jungler did not counter jungle, because they probably took your blue and then ran off. So what you do is now you path towards bot side. So at this point, you reset it. You grab so you did red Krugs, gank bot, and then you probably grab Scuttle Crab right here. You reset, and then grab control wards and like 1 or 2 jungle items. And then you enter top side. And what you should be looking to do here is you should be looking to path towards bot side. Alternative, remember, you can also drop a ward too when you're up here. Drop a ward up here, and then look to path bot. So let's assume they only took blue, right? You would do Grump here, Wolves, Wraiths, and then look to enter your bot side. And what you would do here is you would place a control ward somewhere to see if the enemy jungler comes, and look at which lane you need to gank for priority to do the dragon. So from here, you'd place your control ward somewhere, here, here, or here, and then you would look at the lane that needs help getting priority, and then look to go through that lane. So if it's mid lane, you gank the mid lane for priority or even for kill. And then after you get the priority, you look at bot lane. If they don't have priority, then you gank or for pressure or for priority or kill. And then you can look to do dragon after someone on your team places a ward here, and then you can do dragon. So remember that early gank that you did bot lane? Your bot lane should have priority because you ganked them already that early on. And you're abusing this flash timer when their flash still is roughly up in like a minute 30 seconds. So if they end up face checking, you guys can just kill them. You peel off the dragon and kill them, or you secure the dragon, then kill them. So that's how you can secure dragon early on, is by making sure you find a guaranteed advantage in mid or bot lane. And then coming back in roughly 3 minutes and 30 seconds to abuse that in some way. So then that's like the easiest way to secure the first dragon, in my opinion. Best league ranks and Elise path. Generally, those champs are just 3 to 4 camps, then Scuttle Crab, then they can look for gank. So like you just do red Krugs, Wolves blue, and then you can just do Scuttle Crab and then gank on most of those champs, or on all 3 of those champs. I'm pretty sure that's a pretty standard path. Best Zac path. I think Zac is more of a you farm everything that you can, and then try to reach 6, and then from there you can look for ganks. So you would just do standard pathing. You would do, but you can do Raptors because the way you're building that jungle item that can hit multiple champions at once. It's this one. So you can do red Krugs, Raptors, and then just path top. You can probably sacrifice both scuttles if your lane priority is really weak, but if not, you can secure 1 scuttle and then just continue farming from there. But a no gank path looks something like this. Like you would do all 3 of your camps that you start on bot side usually. It doesn't matter what side you're on. You would path top, and then you would do 1 camp and see if you can secure top scuttle crab. If you can't, then you just farm those 2 camps, the remaining 2 camps on that side. You reset and go bot scuttle and see if that's still up. Do that, place a ward somewhere in a control ward, and then retreat back into the jungle and path towards top again. That's a standard no gank, no pressure, clear for most junglers. So that's what you want to do on a lot of the farming junglers like Karthus, Zac, in my opinion, and yeah. What is the best jungle champ to carry teams? I would say something that has the ability to play aggressive early on. So I personally like Jarvan. I like Elise. Elise is actually pretty bad for climbing in my opinion, because you end up relying on your teammates when you transition to the mid game. But whereas champions like Jarvan, maybe Graves is really good, Gragas, they have a lot of potential to really like set up a team fight really well and actually like solo kill someone really easily. Graves doesn't necessarily solo kill, but he's just like 80 carry for jungle. So I personally love Graves too. But when I play jungle, I generally try to stick with my Jarvan. I try to stick with my Graves and Gragas. Those are like my favorite champs to play for jungle. Do you think J4 is viable for low E level like silver? Yep. J4 is perfect for those low level games because all you do is just grab red buff and you just gank right away. Or if you want to be more safe, you do red, then Krugs, the path I was talking about, and then you gank mid or bot from there after your red buff. What about like Nocturne? Personally, I'm not a fan of Nocturne because you don't have the best gank setup in the world pre-6. You kind of just walk in and just chuck a Q, and then hopefully they're overstepped and you land your E. But once you do reach 6, then the champion can be a bit more useful, but personally not my style. I like champions that can do stuff at 3, 4, and 5, and then when transitioning to the mid game, they're still like pretty useful. I'm looking to play Elise, but her kit looks pretty hard to learn. Any tips? Most of it is in the clearing, like how fast you are at clearing the jungle, and then seeing how much you can impact your lanes, and obviously landing your Qs and stuff. But personally, I wouldn't recommend Elise because, again, transitioning into the mid game, her champion's very team reliant, where you can try to set something up, like you can burst someone to like 70% HP, and then your teammates kind of handle things from there. So not really my style, but she can be played if you can trust a duo queue partner to abuse the lead that you give them. All right. So the jungle lesson is pretty quick. There's like not much I can talk about. I've just been running around the map. There's like no like exact specific things I can talk about. Maybe some wording then and there, but I can just cover that in the game that we're playing. So I guess we're gonna hop straight into the game. And keep in mind, I forgot. I actually forgot. Please kite your damn camps. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do it properly. Obviously, I won't have a leash in this case, so you'll see me like I'll do a standard like jungle clear, without like a leash. Buzz Lightyear 99, my man. Is Kane viable in all ranks? Yeah, he's pretty good. So yeah, when you do camps, you want to try to pull it towards the next. Oh, my runes are really bad, by the way. That's why this is gonna be really weird. But yeah, you generally want to be pulling the camps towards the next place that you're going. Ooh, this is actually disgusting. I don't have attack speed runes, so this is really weird. But yeah, but the point still stands. Is you generally want to pull the camps towards where you're going. For Jarvan specifically, you want to be trying to abuse your passive where you can. So just keep that in mind. So normally, obviously, right here, I would have got a leash, so my HP would be much higher, and I have the right runes, and then you can look to gank bot right after. And keep in mind, you can smite the Krugs too, in this case, so that you can get more HP, to make sure that you do have the HP to gank when you do reach your destination. And then blue buff is very similar, you want to pull it towards Gromp. And some champions, like Olaf, Nidalee, they can do both Gromp and blue at the same time. If you can somehow pull blue and Gromp together, and then kill them exactly right here. You generally don't want to do this early on, when you are squishy. You want to do this maybe when you're past level 7, and you have a couple items that you can burst the camps a bit more quicker. But that's something you want to look to do on those two specific champions. What about Evelynn for lower elo? Where does she stand in current meta? I don't think Evelynn's that great, because she is kind of similar to Nocturne, where you kind of chill for the first 6 levels, and then once you reach level 6, then you can maybe look to do something with your invisibility. But her kit is actually pretty hard to use, because you're pretty low damage until you get yourself ramping in terms of items, so I personally don't recommend her. What about Kha'Zix? Kha'Zix is okay. He's a pretty weird champion, where he kind of has to snowball to be able to do damage, and if you fall really far behind, then you're just walking around doing nothing. Whereas Jarvan, like if you say you fell behind on Jarvan, right? Then you can still do something. You can land your knockup, you can cataclysm someone. Same as Gragas. If you fall behind, you can still like land a really good stun. But Kha'Zix is just like the Jace of jungle. That's the way I like to put it. Thoughts on Ivern? Very team reliant. Wouldn't recommend. But let's get into selecting teams. So for jungle, most important things. Be very mindful of your pathing. Don't blindly path 4 camps towards top side, die at Scuttle Crab, and then blame your teammates on why they didn't have priority. But think about like the things that you can be doing on a champion. Could you do 1 camp gank? Could you do 2 camps gank? Could you use your bot lane party early on, or top lane party, to invade for their like buffs? So these are like some of the things that you want to be thinking about when you're pathing around. But alright. What ranks are we doing today? Let's do today. I've always been doing gold and silver. What are the ranks of the players that are watching right now? Because I don't want to keep limiting it to gold and silver, but I generally think like gold and silver is the average rank that people are in right nowadays. So like I just go for that because it's probably the highest population. We got some platinums, we got some bronzes, silver, diamond. No challenge. Where's the challengers? No, I'm just joking. Alright. So someone said challenger. So I've been doing a lot of gold, silver, so let's drop it down a notch and go bronze and silver today. Do I have the right scene on? Yes, I do. So I'm gonna make a game, and we're gonna keep this as clean as possible, like yesterday. So when I ask for your role, I want you guys to put in your chat your name and then the role that you play. So right now I'm going to ask for 2 top laners. So I want bronze and silver top laners to put their name and then their role, which is top. And then obviously please be North America because I am on the NA server. So let me pull up ProGuides on my computer. Alright, so I got one here. Make sure you guys are bronze or silver, and then maybe gold 4. But I don't want the game to be like a huge disparity where there's like diamond players versus like silver players. Alright, make sure if I invite you guys join. So yeah, right now I'm looking for one more top laner. That's in silver or bronze. Alright, this guy's gold 4. So I'll take him. Shouldn't be too bad. Where's Trungle? Lol. Dr. Giggles. Oh, Trungle's in. Alright, perfect. Make sure you do not start the game, Trungle. Alright, now we need 2 junglers. Bronze or silver, put your name and put your jungler. Are any of you going to play Teach on other servers? Saskio? I'm probably going to do EU next week because I've been getting a lot of requests for EU. So I'll make an account and then we'll go from there next week. Alright, make sure you guys stay in your... on the side that you get placed on. We need one more jungler. Trungle lol is a smurf? Let me check this out. I don't want smurfs smurfing going on in these games. He probably got some crazy games. I don't think it's a smurf. Alright, we need one more jungler. Woohoo, here it is. Alright, he's in. Alright, now we need a mid laner. We need bronze or silver mid laner. So put your name if you're bronze or silver, and then just put mid. What do you think about Rengar? I think he is a champion similar to Kha'Zix, where you need to find a ramp early on, and your spike is at 6. It's like Nocturne and Evelyn, kind of. Alright. Let's get my man in here. Pretty sure I invited this name just now. No, I didn't. Alright, we're good. You got a mid laner. Grab one more. Ooh, that one didn't work. These names aren't working. What's going on? Make sure you guys are at NA server, by the way. What do you think about Twitch Jungle? He could work. He's actually a champion that could work like in early game where he has like that level 3 like cheese or even that level 2 spike with red buff. And then he has a pretty decent transition into the mid game too, where once he gets his Runons and his jungle item. Alright, we need one more mid lane. I'm trying. A lot of these names aren't working. Alright, there it is. Volley jungle, what are your thoughts? Volley jungle can be good if the enemy team doesn't have too much kiting. Like, they don't have, like, Janna, like, things of that nature, like Thresh to keep you off. Alright, we need 80 carries now. So, silver and bronze 80 carries, put your name, and then put 80 carry. My man. Double X in the house. What do you think about Warwick? Warwick, very similar champion to Volibear, but he actually has more gap closers, so he can actually get into fights initially and then stay on people. So Warwick could end up working as a pretty decent jungler, but I don't like him because his early game is 50-50. Alright, Vayne 3, may you please join the game? Alright, now I need a... Oh, you are level 6. May I kindly ask you to leave the game, Vayne 3? As... If you are completely new to the game, then I wouldn't want you in this lobby. We need one more 80 carry. Thank you very much for leaving, by the way. Alright, Mr. Reedlos, what's up? Alright, now we need 2 supports. We need bronze or silver support player. Put your name and then support. Alright. In. And then we need one more. Found my final guy. Alright. So, for the initial part, people have been complaining about waiting for the other team to lock in, then locking your champion to counter. So what I will do today is I will block my client until everyone's locked in, then I will show it. Just to make sure none of that is going on. So let's do that here. So can the final person please log in and then quickly join? If not, I will get ready to start inviting a lot of supports to completely fill in the last slot. Alright. Trungle Lull, may you please start the game? Guys, try to pick general meta champions to your role, and try to pick something comfortable too. So I don't want to see nothing crazy top lane or like support, like what's a crazy support? Teemo support probably. Not too crazy, but it's not that great. Maybe like Kalista support. What do you mean about Warwick's early game being 50-50? I just don't see him being a champion that can like gank for priority early on. He doesn't like go in like Jarvan or something or things of that nature. The good thing about Warwick is like you can farm early on really well, and you can secure Dragon early on, and then you can transition to the mid game where you have your ultimate to actually gap close onto people and being useful. But just Warwick just isn't personally my style of champion, so like I'm not gonna like overhype him to like be a good jungler. Kayn jungle, your thoughts? Yeah, Kayn jungle is pretty good. The issue is obviously he's not like the strongest jungler in the world. The one thing about Kayn is I don't see him. I don't like think he should be ganking for kill ever. He should be ganking for stacks on his transformation, and he should be trying to go for melee champions early on. So you can gank for stacks. That's what you want to do on Kayn, and then that naturally leads into priority, allowing you to potentially invade and go from there. So both sides have locked in their champs. We can check the comps. Can you use Kindred to climb from Silver 1? Yeah, for sure. Kindred's a perfectly fine champion to play. Shen jungle. River Shen, just walk up and down the river and just taunt and Q. But yeah, on the real though, I don't think Shen jungle is that great. He just doesn't have the kit. You can't fully utilize his kit to jungle properly. Sure, you can taunt camps, and then you Q for bonus damage, but you can never use his Q that goes through people to get the bonus damage. He's definitely just a better top laner. What do you think about Qiyana jungle? Qiyana jungle is a flex pick in my opinion. You shouldn't be like for high level gameplay, but for lower level gameplay, Qiyana jungle is fine. I would say Qiyana jungle is like the AD Elise in my opinion. Oh, junglers are good at the moment? Jarvan, Olaf. Elise, if you have a good duo that can abuse the lead you give them. So definitely check out those junglers. And Graves. I love Graves. I'm a huge Graves enthusiast. Shaco jungle, what are your thoughts? Yeah, you can check out Chase Shaco to see his Shaco gameplay, but for Shaco jungle, make sure you understand his first, like, 2 camp clear, like how you should be placing your boxes and making sure the enemy team doesn't invade, so your teammates should stack on your side and cover to see if they invade, and then kill them if they walk in, because your team is stacked and they're face checking. But know how to clear the first 2 camps, and then transition that into your path, and then go from there. You should be ahead by 1 camp every time you're playing Shaco jungle, so you should be able to always get the first gank off, or the first positioning off on Crab. When to pick Graves, please? You can kind of pick him whenever you want, but if you want a perfect scenario, you generally want to have a tank top, AP mid laner, then you can pick Graves. And then some kind of CC from bot lane that's really easy to execute. So like Ashe, maybe Taric, that could work. But yeah, that's like the perfect scenario. Tank top, AP mid, setup from bot lane. Can you give us some advice on Graves? You should be very healthy on all your jungle clears. If you haven't gotten to an engagement, you should be almost full HP 100% on Graves. So that means you need to be kiting properly, using his E properly, like as much as you can, the second it's up, to put it on cooldown so that you can start getting it off cooldown again by auto-attacking stuff. Alright, let's transition my scene here so I don't forget. Alright, we're good. Can't mess up if you transition your scene right away. Pretty near here, but would love to be able to play in these games one day. Will you or another coach be doing this kind of stuff again? Yeah. Most of the coaches or the people who stream out here on ProGuides, they'll do a lot of viewer games. I'm personally doing it on NA a lot right now, but I'll look to do 1 EU next week and 1 NA next week, and we can go from there. But most of the coaches do these games, so if you catch us in the streams, they'll probably ask for IGNs, or they'll probably just put the password out there and you guys just join. And you can try to get into one of those. Why can't I carry games as Z jungle even though I'm super ahead? I get really fed almost every game and get all Drakes and Heralds, and I am able to get and still lose game at like 20 kills. So obviously, like, you've seen those Zs who like 1v9 just like solo carry, but even though you're really far ahead, your teammates need to be in a position where they're able to assist you when you're going in. Like, so that when there's a lot of chaos happening in team fights, they need to be there to help you to do the stuff that you want to do. Like, you can't just run in 1v9 and like you're just by yourself in the middle of a team fight. You can't do that. You need them to be there to, like, so it can sidetrack the enemy team from just full focusing you, and like a lot of chaos is just happening. So you're able to just run around, get resets on Master E, and just pop off on people. Alright, so our focus is going to be jungle for these games. So, right off the bat, there's somebody in the bathroom already. They're like rolling up. So, yeah, generally you want to hold a 5-point. Vladimir should be standing right here. Warwick should be standing right here. Silas should be moving up a little bit more. AD carry here. Support here. So, no flame, but just a like standard game for lower level gameplay. But yeah, generally to nail down this point a bit harder, you should always be trying to 5-point as much as you can early game. So right here, Warwick doing a really good job, placing his ward and then switching to the trinket. This is exactly what I want to see. So now he covers the possibility that the enemy team can late invade, which I don't think will happen in this elo. But what I would have liked to see if Warwick places ward topside, because you get vision of whether Rengar does his red and runs straight to your blue buff to steal your blue buff. Whereas that ward doesn't really do anything, because Warwick, you're going to clear your bot side anyways. What are you protecting your bot side from? You're going to clear it anyways. Like, if say Rengar walks in, right? You're going to be gone. All the camps are gone. There's nothing for him to take. So I would have preferred to see that ward topside. But the idea is there, so I respect it for sure. where you place a ward, reset for the trinket, your trinket resets, and then now you can use it for an early gank later on. Well, now he didn't blast cone jump, rip his clear. Yeah, that's something you want to be looking to do on Rengar early on, is these blast plants spawn before your camps. So then you queue onto them for your early stacks, so that you can kill the camps faster and save a bit more HP. So right here, in my opinion, very standard pathing, very good from both junglers. Rengar should have placed his ward earlier on his blue side, so he should have placed it right here. And then he passed towards bot side, so that ward can protect him if in case the Warwick decides to walk to his jungle. Warwick had the idea, but didn't place it on the right side. But still respectable. So right here, Warwick, so like, there are these little things that I add up. Like, so when I do personal coaching with someone for jungle, I add up all the time that they've wasted in a game, and I easily add up times up towards of 5 minutes that people waste on very little stuff. So right there, you may notice that Warwick walked all the way here before finally attacking his camps. That's literally like 3 seconds of time that he wasted on that camp. Whereas he could have instantly auto-attacked the camp, pulled it here, and then pulled it all the way towards his blue buff. And then right here on blue, he should be pulling the blue buff towards his next destination. So he should have been pulling the blue upwards, and then he should have finished the blue literally right here. Literally right here. And then he does transition to his Scuttle Crab. So that's like another like 3 seconds he wasted from having to run from where he finishes blue all the way to the Scuttle Crab. On top of that, I believe he ran past the Scuttle Crab. So you get the point here, right? Like, when I do personal jungle coaching, I add up all these little things, and then like the player at the end of the game, they're like, wow, I wasted a lot of time on these little things. Right here, standard pathing, both junglers clearing. Rengar doing a really good job of transitioning to the bot side, but what the blue team should have known was Rengar started top side because Riven came out late, so they should have seen this coming. So right now, ooh, they're actually going on him. They do get him, actually. Very nice. I'm surprised there that Rengar didn't actually get a successful gank off. But basically, in most cases, that should have resulted in a kill, but I guess red team did follow up on the play. But he was able to successfully get behind someone, and that generally is a setup for a play. So Brandon Jinx should have been more proactive on setting up the play. But on blue side, like if this is a high-level game, that should never happen, where the person gets behind you and you're pushed up that far. You should have already crashed the wave, and then look to back off as blue side. But I guess in that case, Rengar just really squishy early on. Jinx and Brandon follow up, and he just died. So let's go back to this Warwick. He's pressuring the mid. Sylas has pressure on his own, so I don't think Warwick, you need to be here. So the issue with Warwick showing mid here is nothing will actually happen, because Rumble's playing safe anyways. Oh my god. Okay. I guess Rumble just already burned Flash somewhere else, so I guess it's okay there, but let's assume Rumble had Flash, right? And he's still playing that safe. Warwick doesn't really achieve much being there, because they have to really outplay his Flash, assuming Rumble did have Flash, to make that play work. And you already have priority that lane. You don't need to go there. You may as well invade, and then if you get into trouble, then Sylas can move first compared to the Rumble, then help you. So it's better to achieve multiple things. Is where you had the push, that's one thing, right? And then you can achieve like a camp from the enemy team, or even Dragon, or even bot scuttle. Or a bot gank. But in that case, Rumble had no Flash, so sure, you can go for it. Fully commit to the play. Jack's jungle thoughts? Very similar to level 6 champion, like later game champions actually, not level 6, later game. But he does have the potential to make early plays because of his jump and his stun. So I think it could work, but not my style of champion, so I wouldn't like put him high on the recommend list. So right here, like again, like Warwick, why are you bot side? You have no reason to be bot side because your bot lane already has priority. Why not use their priority and Sylas's priority to invade Rengar's bot side jungle? Because your bot lane and mid lane can move first to assist you. So right there, Warwick could have stole 2 camps. So he takes away 2 camps from Rengar. And he gets 2 camps for himself very safely because he knows his team can come. And if the enemy team do decide to fight, your team gets there first. And then you guys win, because your team's there first. And if there is no camps on that side, then take Dragon. Your bot lane can move first to Dragon, your mid laner can move first to Dragon. So there's no reason to be, like, no reason for him to enter to try to make a gank when you already had that push. So instead what happens now is Warwick just farmed his Krugs, and then that leaves 2 camps still for Rengar on bot side to continue farming. What do I do with ganks if all my lanes are losing? Generally, if your lanes are losing, it's easier to gank, because, in my opinion, because the enemy team are usually pushed up. But the most important thing is you want to be able to time your gank through a control ward at the same time as the enemy team almost completing their push. That's like the perfect time to gank. Because after they complete their push, they're going to enter the bush that is pinked and then clear it. So then you want to be inside that bush already. So I'm going to view this game from Warwick's perspective, because I want to discuss like how he should be using his priority here. So right here, your top laner is just a farm lane. It's Vladimir. He wants to reach like his later game items. Just chill. This is a prime game for this Warwick to be able to secure his dragons, because you have the mid lane priority. You have the bot lane priority. The enemy team cannot contest the dragon. And if they do, you have the right as the jungler to blame your team, because they can move. So what you should do is you ping dragon and say, come. Like after, like as the team, as your lanes are pushing. And then your lanes come, they secure it. And if the enemy team contests, you guys fight. That's fine. But if your mid and bot does not have priority and you die, then you cannot blame the team. It's your fault. You have no reason to be doing that. But obviously sneaks do happen and they do like work sometimes. But yeah. Let's see what happens here. He's invading without hard priority from bot lane and mid. Like they're not in a position to help out right away. Sure, they have my slight priority, but it's not like hard enough for them to come first. Keep in mind when you're invading, the enemy team is closer to you at that initial part. When you invade, you want to make the enemy team choose between losing CS or getting there first. That's the thing that you want the enemy team to choose between. And then if they come, they obviously lose CS. If they don't come, then your teammates will get there first or at the same time. What do you think about Zed mid? He's a very linear champion, but he does have split push, the ability to split push. Wouldn't put him on high on the list either for mid lane champs to pick up. But he is fancy though. You can get some faker plays. So what's going on here? They spot a rumble. So this is like very... The team synergy here is very like all over the place. You have Silas bot lane and then Warwick going in onto a rumble with Ashe, where Ashe should have been bot but Silas should have been helping mid. No, that was really weird. But one thing I do want to point out is for the Vladimir, if you're watching this, or ever rewatch this, you need to respect, if your team is making a play on one side of the map, you need to assume that the enemy jungler is making the play on your side of the map. So you need to play very respectfully on your side, which is the opposite side, and not like die. That's why you'll notice in like high level competitive games, is where if one play is happening on the other side of the map, the other side literally like backs off, and they'll sometimes even sacrifice their minions to make sure they don't get dove. And it's a very common situation to happen where one side will like dive bot lane, and then the team that dove bot lane, their top laner, has to back up way past the tower, back to their second tier tower to make sure they don't die. You'll see it all the time, I guarantee you, 100%. Alright, so what's going on here? So right here, Warwick's general game plan should shift to top. Because you've secured Dragon, so there's no reason for you to play around bot side anymore, because the only thing you'll achieve now is bot tower or bot dives. And maybe camps in their jungle, but there's no point. There's more things that you can be doing topside. So right now he should be looking to set up topside. I guess Ashe is just here. Okay, respect. I respect this commitment from Ashe to leave bot lane and come top to make this play happen. That is some commitment I need. Are the live lessons available on YouTube? I actually have no clue. But next week I'll be doing an AD carry, and then I will probably do mid. So yeah, I'll go back to specifically AD carry, because I didn't, in any of my lessons, I didn't specifically focus only on AD carry. I did AD carry and support, then I did support, then I did top, and today jungle. So I'll go to AD carry next week, and then do an EU game. Alright, so right here, very good on the blue team to secure Herald. I'm not a fan of, even though I respected the Ashe's commitment to come and take the Herald, I don't like the play because you lose minions bot. Like, you're really far ahead of the Jinx. Now, the Jinx is caught up. So we should have been bot, and then Warwick should have been able to find a way to generate that Herald with Silas's priority over this Rumble. Let's turn on the music again. Alright. What role would you recommend to learn? Play whatever you enjoy. That's the best way to not get burnt out. So right here, Warwick coming bot. Very classic gank. Very nice. Ults one of the people. Ashe layers her CC on top. Nami layers her CC, just very clean and straight to the point. I love it. And now you should place your Herald down, Warwick. Place it. Very nice. You secured the plates now for bot. Before the 14-minute marker where plates drop. Very good. You're probably even going to get this. The tower is going to be almost like 20 HP. Ding. Maybe like 70. And then you've grabbed this tower and you secured the first tower. Very nice. So now let's shift gears and turn this to Rengar's side. So overall, this Warwick's gameplay was pretty good. He eventually did pick up all the stuff that he was supposed to from the dragon. It just took him maybe 2 minutes longer. He then transitioned his play into top for the Herald, and then now he finally came bot to secure the tower with Herald. So right here, this is a clear overstay from a blue team. So I'm gonna go back real quick. So after you secure bot tower here, you literally have zero reason to walk up anymore. Sure, you can maybe try to go for the second crash, but it is not worth it at all. Because you already killed someone on the enemy team, you burnt all your cooldowns, you have no reason to walk up. Even if, like, let's say you even do get the crash, it's not that worth it. So what ends up happening now is blue team feeds back money to the enemy team. See, sure you get the crash, it's whatever, but you're not achieving the tower overall. Like, you can probably come back to the tower later and you'll beat the enemy team. So what ends up happening now, here's Riven comes in for a flank. Boom, boom, boom. Ashe drops. Nami burns flash. And then now Warwick has to burn flash. And he ends up dying too. So that's a blue team scenario here. So all you have to do is just reset after you got the tower and you've been fine. And then you send the Ashe Nami top. And then Warwick plays around top side. Or you can set up for the dragon, which is coming up, which is fine too. So right here, let's shift gears and turn this to Rengar's side. What should Rengar be doing right now? So Rengar's objective, in my opinion, is he should be playing to the weak side of the enemy. So the weakest side is Vladimir, because your core isn't as strong. Because look, you have a Rumble that's 1-5 and is down to the Sylas. Alright, he just rolls up bot. Alright, that's fine, sure. But Sylas was alone, to be fair. But generally, let's just assume like 3v3 or 4v4. Rengar's team is probably not going to win on their side because they're generally much weaker than the enemy team. So what he should look to do is play to their enemy weak side, which is the Vladimir, and look to get the Riven ahead and try to play from there. So this further pushes my point is the losing team always generally plays to the top lane, which is the isolated player on the enemy team, instead of playing to the core of the enemy team that's strong. And then the winning team generally plays to their bot and mid laner. So that's something you'll notice in high level gameplay. Yeah, high level competitive gameplay. Would you not be targeting Ashe because she has no ability? Well, my assumption is Ashe is going to be guarded by Nami and Warwick 24/7. That's the assumption that you should be having here. Because right now, Ashe and Nami should be mid lane. They have no reason to be bot lane anymore because you can't achieve anything bot lane. The only thing you can achieve is bot priority and then run mid. But in that case, why not just send the Ashe and Nami mid to get priority 24/7 and have the Sylas lane bot and have the Sylas shift to mid lane because he's so strong. And then that allows Ashe and Nami to hit the tower mid lane. and actually achieve something, rather than randomly just pushing bot then running mid when the wave's already been cleared. So that's the lane assignment that the blue team should be holding here, and then have the Warwick be hovering that area at the same time, so that if the Ashe does get hopped on by the Rengar, then the Warwick is right there to assist. And the only way Rengar should be able to get on Ashe is if he clicks ult. So that'll give Warwick plenty of time to get off his Wolves or his Raptors to come assist that play if it does happen. So what Rengar should be looking to do, in my opinion, is try to find picks that are people out of rotation. I'm assuming the blue team will never have someone out of rotation, but I guess in this case, like, at the end of the day, it is lower level gameplay. People will be out of position. So, but based on experience, like, that will never fly in high level gameplay. Where the Rengar will find a pick onto, like, the Ashe, because the Ashe will never be randomly walking around, or the Nami. They'll always be escorted by the Warwick, and then they'll always win the 1v2 on you. So then the best place is the enemy top laner. Right here, Rengar going out to the Warwick. I don't think he wins this, because if Warwick gets low and then he ults, you just lose. Rengar should lose this. Yeah. So that is not the play that you want to make, because remember, your core isn't as strong as the enemy core. So your 1v1 isn't going to win, your 2v2 isn't going to win, your 3v3 isn't going to win. You have to look for the 2v1 on Vladimir. Well, let's say the enemy team, for some reason, groups around the Vladimir, then you just push mid lane. And then the enemy team is forced to react. Runes for Graves jungle? I think the runes for Graves jungle can vary a lot. But I think Conquer is like the best right now. Because once you get those stacks, you got your DD on you, you got your Visage probably, and your Phantom Dancer, then you'll just be slapping. And healing for like 1,000,000. Is Electrocute better than Conquer and Rengar? You want to run Electrocute when you're against squishy people, so that you can burst them in faster. And you want to run Conquer in more sustained fights, or like tankier people on the enemy team. Little random, but what do you think is the best role to carry in silver/gold? I always hate answering this question, because you should just be playing whatever role you love, and you'll just climb, no matter what. But if you really want me to give you a role, then I always think top lane's the best role to climb, no matter what, because you're isolated, and it really shows the difference in, I think, top lane diff. Like if you're able to mechanically outplay the enemy top laner, and in a lot of cases the jungler. So a lot of shenanigans going on here. Just a standard team fight, but Vladimir getting a really good TP off and flanking the enemy there. I do respect the commitment from red side to commit for that play, but they're pretty far behind right now. This is not the play that you want to be setting up. Again, I already pointed it out. You don't want to fight your core against their core. You want to try to set up a position where you can find a 1v2, or just find a straight up 1v1 pick as Rengar onto the Ashe or Nami. But when you take a core fight of 4v4, 3v3, 5v5, you're just going to lose. You just can't take it when you're behind. Unless your team for some reason outscales at that specific time and spike at that exact moment. Then maybe. Did someone pick up the riff? Or did they use it already? Am I missing something here? I'm just crazy. Oh! Rand took the Rift Herald and no one picked it up. Okay. My bad. Damn! What exactly do you mean when you say the core? So the core team. So generally the core team is AD carrying support and jungle. So Ashe, Nami, and Warwick in this case. And on the other side, it's Rengar, Jinx, and Rand. That's the core of the team. And then you can chuck in the mid laner like as a side too. But the top laner is not a part of the core team, generally, ever. Unless they have a role reversal midway through the game where they want to keep the top laner with the team and have the mid laner act as the top laner now and match the enemy top. Which does happen in some games where you have like an Ornn or something, and you want your Ornn top lane to be with the team instead of having like a LeBlanc or like a Vladimir with your team. That does happen sometimes. When you go phase rush on Graves, and when you go Yumu's and Duskblade, and when you go Yumu's and Duskblade, if they're really squishy, so you can just pop them with your Electrocute. But I don't like phase rush on Graves because his general tool, where he has dash and his W for slow, like should keep you within distance. And then I'm assuming you have red buff too when you're ganking. But let's go back real quick to these picks that just happened. So, ooh, Silas randomly going in for no reason. So the issue here is, like, as blue team right there, you have no reason to go in because your Vladimir's top lane pushing out the wave. You have your Ashe and Nami pushing in the wave. Look at the minion waves that the enemy team is missing now. They just committed. They're off the map, so there's no reason for you to engage mid. If, let's say, Jinx and Brand was bot lane, clearing bots, and Riven was top, and it's a 2v2 mid, then sure, take that 2v2 engage any day, please. But in this case, the enemy team, their core is all together, and you are a 2-man. So that's exactly what the red team wants to find here, because they are behind. So they're going to take big number advantage fights, in this case 5v2. So why are you opting into taking the 5v2 when you can just let your teammates push the side waves? The enemy team's forced to react. If they don't react, your team just keeps going. And if they do react, your team backs off. And then now you finally push up mid lane. How would you recommend improving macro? Watch all my lessons I talked about on push, vision, push, execute. Literally on every lesson that I did yesterday and like last week, I nailed down push, vision, push, execute like so many times. Like it's probably gonna become my core identity as a coach. Like to teach every single person push, vision, push, execute. And you can kind of figure out what it means. I don't need to explain it to you. You push, you get vision and clear vision, then you push again, then you execute, which means you can do whatever you want. You can do Baron, you can do camps, you can siege, you can kill people. A million things you can do for execute. Alright, so right here, Warwick opting into diving onto the Jinx. But that is the incorrect call, because you have an Ashe and Nami that are really strong. And you have someone that is specifically there and designed to assassinate them, the Riven and Rengar. So your main objective as Warwick, in that case, should have been to... Starting the fight's fine, because it's a 3v3. Maybe not, because maybe Riven's pretty strong, but at the end of it, it's still a 3v3. What you should be looking to do is literally just peel back as hard as you can. Use your abilities to engage, sure. And then the second you see people like kiting back, your teammates kiting back, and someone trying to assassinate them, you turn around. Pop the ult on Riven, Ashe like pops everything, Nami pops everything, she gets CC, she dies. And then once she's dead, Rengar's probably gonna hop on AD carry, then he has to figure out from there on how you want to play out the situation. Which obviously you panic and you kite back. I hear a lot of stuff that is going really wrong for blue team, even though they're really far ahead. Every player from bronze and up to diamond just ARAM after 15 minutes. That's why, in my opinion, I recommend top lane for climbing, because you're able to break that cycle of having to ARAM at 15, because you're able to just go to side lane. And then if you know how to play side lane properly, which is something that any top laners don't know how to do, then you can really impact games really well. Which is the lesson I nailed on yesterday, all about top lane, where I discussed how to side lane properly and know when you're being ganked and how to avoid it, and how to set up the vision. Alright, so back to this game. I do think, so on blue team, your objective is to peel your Ashe. Where'd the Ashe just died? God damn, why are you even there? So blue team's objective, in my opinion, is to peel Ashe and peel like Silas and just play as a team. And red team is to try to jump on top of Ashe and kill her. And then Vladimir can obviously do Vladimir things where he just runs into the backline and does whatever he can. Alright, so right here, red team starting Dragon. Very nice. What they should have done was pull out the Dragon much further. And then look to do it from there. Red team securing Dragon. Their Riven's off doing Riven things. And the team... This team fight is so hilarious because it's everything that's wrong with low-level gameplay. Did you guys see what happened there? Literally, the red team dispersed as hard as possible in every single direction that they possibly can. Same as blue team. Like, both teams should have been trying to play as a core and coming from the same side so that you can fight together as much as you can. But everyone just like panic and run all over the place. It's like, you know that meme from that one show where the guy walks into the apartment with the pizza and then everything's just on fire and everyone's just all over the place. That's exactly what just happened on both sides. Why Ashe? He's not fed at all. Generally, you want to gun for their AD carry. But I guess in this case, sure, you probably don't have to focus Ashe. But that's just that's like the general focus of like how both team comps should play out. Assuming like both sides are 0-0 and 0, they should be looking to gun for the Ashe. As their Rengar and like their Riven like duo of like general dive is pretty good for that. And then Rumble can land the ult really easily onto the Ashe too. Assuming both sides are again 0-0-0. But you can alternatively, I guess, peel back. But the blue team also do have really good opportunities to dive if Jinx is out of position. With the Vladimir and Warwick and Sylas. But I would peel back for Ashe just because of her CC. Like, sure, Riven's really far ahead and has QSS, right? But if you peel back, like, you can all focus down the Riven, which is, like, arguably the most fed player on red side. Instead of trying to assassinate people. Like, you're not assassinating a Riven in the backline. You're peeling her off of your teammates. So it's just, like, very natural to help everybody. To help the Ashe relative to the Riven. Rumble, use your ults! What is going on? Well. Good job, blue team. They picked off the Rumble. Riven's out of position. I think if Rumble actually ulted, Riven would have cleaned everyone up with Rengar and Bran. If Rumble just random ulted in the area he was dying. Rengar going in. And popped. And I would just love to point out that literally in the last 40-second sequence, red team has found a way to die one by one over and over again. It was Rumble randomly getting caught, then Riven getting caught because Rumble was getting caught, and then Rengar goes in for kills, and then Bran tries to roll up and then dies too. So, I guess the game was just like, the game was thrown back and forth so many times in this game. In what situation you get blue or red smite? If you're a champion that can duel, you generally want to get red. And in situations where you're not dueling and you're just looking for quick kills or ganks, then you go blue. Like, for example, Elise would generally go blue in my opinion because you're not trying to duel people, even though you can. But you generally want to grab blue in that case. Like, same as Gragas maybe. Like, you try to burst someone with all that burst and try to kill them. Is there a way to watch the live class you did yesterday on top lane? There might be a way. If you search it up, maybe you can search up like ProGuides Saskio top. That could work. But I know the videos are unlisted for the live classes from ProGuides. Panzer Dragon gets red smite when playing Elise. Yeah, that's true, because Panzer Dragon is a jungler who plays around priority. And if he's dueling the enemy jungler with priority, he's gonna win, because he has more sustain with the damage reduction, and his teammates can get there. But that's something that you don't want to try to do in your in lower level gameplay, because you don't want to depend on somebody to come help you. You want to avoid the enemy avoid the enemy jungler if you can't beat him 1v1 anyways, and then just look for the ganks with blue smite. What do you think about the so-called mute and carry? Let's see what's going on here. Rengar ults. So Silas getting really good engagement to Brand. Quickly pops Riven diving right into the backline. But Ashe peeled back really well, popped the flash, and now Riven finally turns around to help her team. So I guess the role reversal. Red team should be peeling for their team. Oh, I take that back. Rengar popped into the backline. Riven about to pop off a 1v9. She has her Conqueror stack, and she's knocked up in the air, but she QSS's, and now she turns around and pops the Vladimir. Ult back on. The Broken Blade is not broken anymore, and now she takes down the rest of the team. Very nice. But for the mute all comments, I think it depends on the person. If you're a person who gets tilted, or you end up like focusing on typing more than playing, once like typing starts happening in the chat, then you should be muting all. But if you're a person who doesn't like do that, and like maybe like you enjoy the chat, like seeing people flame each other, or like you just don't get impacted overall, then you can keep it on for the just to see what people are saying. But generally overall, I would say most people do get impacted by the chat, so that is probably a good strategy. Because let's be real, if you're playing in gold, what are the chances another gold player has anything constructive to say that will help you improve as a player? Really counterproductive in my opinion. So generally I think keeping it off is the best. What are your thoughts on playing Shyvana jungle? She could work for AP jungle, where you just like ult and then just chuck E's over stuff and just do 1,000,000 damage. But again, not a style of champion I would play. I would be more. I'm more of a Jarvan Graves type of player. What's your main role? I main AD carry. But I'm one of the few players that can play multiple roles, or have played multiple roles over the last like 6 or 7 years of my career. Is Nidalee worth learning for low elo? No, because the champion is very, in my opinion, I'm going to say team reliant to be able to allow you to execute the champion at its fullest. You need like CC style of a champion. Like, I know Box like plays Riven and he duos with King Nidhogg. And King Nidhogg picks Nidalee, and then Box picks Riven. So right there they have AD synergy and AP synergy now. So like you have the opposite, and then Riven has a stun that allows King Nidhogg to move in and land his spears. So right here, blue team pushing in. And they finally end the game. Nope, do they end the game? The Silas got really strong in this game, I will say that. He's 23-9. I would also like to point out that the Rumble bought a Morellonomicon, which was fine. Like, you should be building into Silas with Conquer. But he built the Executioner's Calling on top of that. So that, my friends, is commitment. To make sure that the Vladimir, Warwick, and Silas, and Nami heals are cut in half. That's the commitment I need in my life, right there. Where it doesn't matter what you do, you will cut their healing in half. Galio is good once you can play him. Yeah. I like to pair up Galio with Kai'Sa, though, when it comes to bot lane. Because Galio is able to set up the Kai'Sa for easy CC and stacks for the Kai'Sa. What do you think about the reworked Fiddlesticks? Fun fact, I'm the guy who wrote the script on the reworked Fiddlesticks guide for the ProGuides that released 4 days ago. But I think he's a... I think I enjoy the champion rework. It gives him more ability to be able to play it in different roles. And he's more interactive now, in my opinion, instead of just being a bot that just clicks R and then spams everything. Sure, he has that now, but I like his trinket. That's like the new thing I love a lot. Level 6. So right here, red team kiting back. Riven used her QSS against the Ashe Arrow. And Rengar popping the Silas. Right now, what red team should be looking to do is hard engaging if they can on the enemy team, because the strongest member of blue team is down. Try to kill someone on the enemy team right now, and then start the Baron with numbers advantage, because you know the strongest member's down. And then from there, you can look to come back. So immediately after Silas dropped, Rumble should have rotated off bot lane, and then they should have like looked for some kind of force onto the enemy like 3 core, which is Jinx now, Warwick, and Nami. Or I think it was Vladimir in mid lane. How do I deal with Graves without a mid difference? I guess you gotta outplay him in the 1v1 scenario. If not, you gotta play away from him. If you are weaker, but you play to him, so on the side that he plays if you are stronger. And if you're a 3v3 or 2v2 stronger in that case. For top lane and bot lane. But if he keeps ganking mid, then you avoid that lane if you really have to. So let's see what's going on here. Red team going for their soul. Warwick going in for a steal. Everyone slap the Warwick. Riven into the backline onto the Ashe. Warwick is dead. They secure the Ocean Dragon. And now they turn their sights onto Silas and Vladimir. Riven doing a really good job of assassinating the backline. And then red team, the rest of red team doing a really good job of killing and finishing off the Warwick. So this should be game right here. I am very surprised though that blue team lost. I do believe that they have the... Actually, it's a 50-50. You can argue both ways for whose comp is better. Because red team does have Jinx, who is actually pretty good later in the game. But blue team does have like Vladimir, who is supposed to assassinate the Jinx. But yeah. And I do like imagine like blue team does have the CC to take down Riven. If she dies into the backline. Sure, she has QSS and Merc Treads, but you guys have so much. You have Warwick ult, you have Ashe ult, and you have like Nami ult, Nami Q. If your first pick 80 carry, what do you pick? Kai'Sa. The only count, like, there are, like, obviously there are counters, but she's just an overall, like, good champion. What is going on here? Vladimir walking in, throwing his ult, then doing the rest of his ability, instead of fluidly walking in, ulting, and then eating at the same time. So he ults first, then you walk in to do your combo. But overall, really good play from him. Right here, Jinx should reset, so you have no reason to be up. Is this a counter throw? I've seen so many throws today in this game. It's actually insane. It's like blue team was super far ahead early on, and then blue team decided to throw after the Herald bot side. And then red team got their lead back, and then they threw again. And then this just happened back to like 6 times this game. What a good 80 carries to climb with, assuming bad support? Draven. Because you set up, instead of having the support setting up the 80 carry to carry, you can set up the support to carry as the 80 carry. So it's the opposite. Which was demonstrated when I played Draven with my hands and Yuumi with my feet. Where I literally did not have a support. My feet was my support playing the Yuumi. And I had to set myself up to carry. In that case, I set up the Yuumi, my feet, to just heal me. And you have to win bot lane for your support. When will you do EU? Next week. Wasn't this a split push Warwick scenario? No, you don't. Like none of the teams have to split push. If anything, Riven can split push in this whole team, but generally both sides want to be grouped up and looking to execute their strategies, which in my opinion, blue team should be looking to peel off the Riven so that they can kill her, and then have Vladimir solo dive into the enemy team with this W and Zhonya's. And then what red team should look to do is assassinate the Ashe and Silas backline with the Riven and the Rengar. And then the Rumble ult with Brando flying around in circles. Alright, Nami face checking into a Riven. Riven popping her QSS, but she does get out and does finally pick off a Nami kill. Not bad, my mans. Out here, but red team shouldn't be taking this fight because you have a Brand split pushing. Oh, Jesus Christ. Rengar just chilling over here, doing nothing. Man's not hot. Brand continuing to split push with his Baron. Red team, you have no reason to take that fight. I understand Nami was face checking, but you have a Brand that's split pushing. Wait for the Brand to split push. Wait for someone to react to it, so you know that you have your core 4v4 then. I know it's a jungle stream, but do you have a quick recommendation for a diamond player swapping roles into top lane? Learn how to play the split properly. Watch TF played. He knows when to back off and he knows when he can pressure. That's like the biggest thing. And then obviously execution. That's like everything that's the biggest thing that matters the most. In any League of Legends game, any role, doesn't matter what elo. Execution of anything that's happening. Oh, you want champion recommendations? Kled, Renekton. Two good ones. So what this, so again, I already put my piece out. What blue team should be looking to do is peel back off the Riven and Rengar, have the Vladimir solo dive. Red team, your objective is to assassinate, and whoever does it better wins. The only variation that this game could have is Riven hard split pushes to keep the Vladimir away from his team, and then look to build numbers advantage off of the Riven split push. Even though she doesn't have TP. So, Silas stealing away the Riven ultimates. He should be stealing the... Oh, right here. Warwick engaging onto the Jinx. She doesn't have QSS. She kites back. But Warwick ultimately does not kill. Riven flashes in, gets a huge stun. But ultimately gets popped by the enemy team. But Rengar finding a really good flank. And blue team all drop like flies. What did I just watch? That was so fast. Oh my god. My mans out here was just like, pop, pop. I'm flashing in. Broken Blade ain't broken anymore. And just slaps him with a 4-man stun, or probably even 5-man stun. And Rengar doing a really good job of assassinating the blue team. Blue team not doing a very good job of executing what they wanted, because I already said, your job is to peel back, not fly forward into the enemy team. Look what happened. Warwick flew forward into the Jinx. Beautiful ult, sure, but nobody can follow up. You can't kill her right away. And that's not the point of your team composition. The point of your team composition is to kite back. And obviously, you guys all saw what happened, because after the engage, then they're forced to peel back, but they don't have a really key ability to peel the Riven and Rengar off. And then ultimately, the whole team dies, they all clump up and just get popped in 2 seconds. Is Jax good too for climbing? Yeah, Jax is really good for climbing. At 30 kills, I tried. I forgot to point out. That is actually also an alternative for blue team here. Silas can hard split push. Because he's actually really far ahead. Who wins the 1v1? Riven or Silas? I'm gonna have to go with Silas on this one. Actually, probably not. I take that back. Even though he's really far ahead, he's just gonna get assassinated by Rengar and Riven. He'd probably lose the 1v2. And you don't want to split push into a Rengar, because it's so easy for the Rengar to get on top of you. How do you rate my Riven? Your Riven's not bad, but you should be looking to generate more side lane pressure before looking to group up. Like, obviously, like, this game's just like a NA RAM, everyone just group and try to fight. But if you are able to split push properly, and then rotate to your team once you force someone on the enemy team to react to your wave, you build a numbers advantage, forcing that person that isn't there to TP in once you make your play. And then if you do that again, that time they won't have TP the second time. Alrighty. So let's quickly cover a couple things for this game. Let's just cover the first Baron. On how teams should be playing it, so I can really nail down my push vision, push execute a little bit more. Where is the Baron? Let's just go right here and skip through. Alright, so right here is a really good opportunity to discuss that. So right here, Vladimir should be laning bot lane, and Silas should be top lane. What the core 3 should do, and plus the mid laner, which is top lane, Silas by the way, right here, is they should be moving into the top side to establish vision. Vladimir should be playing safe, close to his tower, so he doesn't get assassinated by the Rengar. And then what blue team should look to do is move in. So you did the first step, which is you pushed. Very nice. Step number 1 complete. And then now you see someone on the wave. So first of all, you see Jinx bot lane. So you guarantee Jinx is not going to be in a bush killing you. You see Riven mid. So you know 2 people for sure won't be ready to assassinate you. So now you walk in as 3. As the Warwick, Ashe, and Nami. And then you have Silas top to quickly rotate if anything happens. And then you establish vision. You have a control ward inside the pit. Control ward here. You sweep here, you ward here, and you ward here. And then you go back to your lanes to push out the wave again. After you push out the wave, you go sit on top of your pink wards. Because, well, sure you can do Baron because you have Blade of the Ruined King Ashe, but it's probably not that strong right now. So all you need to do is sit on your pinks. So you did push, which was what happened right here. You establish your vision, which is step number 2, and then you pushed again, which is the next wave that's coming, which is this one, and this one. And then after you push those 2 waves, you guys move in. The enemy team has to throw blue trinkets at the Baron, which can stall out to make you do a push again. But if they don't have blue trinkets, they're gonna face check. When they face check, you just kill them. You have the Warwick ult, you have the Ashe ult, Nami Q. It's going to be layered on top. You kill them, then you finally start the Baron. That's really a classic way to set up the Baron play here. Where you push out the first wave, establish vision, push out again. You literally execute by sitting on bush, they face check, kill 1, do Baron. Game's over. You had the Baron. And then obviously there's like proper steps to execute with the Baron to end the game, but that's the general idea that blue team should be looking to execute here as a team. What do I do when my team had a lead in laning phase, but then they threw it in late game? You should be carrying. It's not about your team. You should be carrying your games. That's the mindset you should be going into every game with. Like, you should be trying to take all the kills. You should just try to be carrying. And it's not about your team, what they're doing. It's about what you're doing. This is why, hence, like, top lane is like the best role in my opinion to climb, because you can dictate the side lane very well and force the enemy team to play in certain ways. If not, then you just kill the enemy top lane and keep going. How to not have an ARAM game when no one is warding? Well, hopefully you're playing top or mid, so you can go to side lane and play from there. How do you avoid tunnel vision? Practice. Always have a general game plan in mind, like the general objective that you want to be playing for. And then once you establish the general objective you want to play for, you apply the 4 steps I keep nailing down over and over again in every session I coach here on ProGuides. Push, vision, push, execute for that objective. How many more customs? That will be it for today. But next week I will be doing 1 EU game. I don't know whether Saturday or Sunday, my bad. For the EU game, we'll find out. I'll just choose. But next week it'll be 1 EU game, 1 NA game. How can I make my teammates objective when we have prio? You spam ping the crap out of them to come to the objective that you're doing when they have the priority. Is Master Yi a good bot lane champion? Probably not. Alright, so just some quick builds this game. Builds look pretty fine across the board. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, nothing too crazy. Respectable builds. I do respect the Rumble Executioner's mid-game build where he had Morello and Executioners, but he was committed. Best farm path early on? You just clear your like bot side, then you clear top side, then reset, go bot scuttle. If you're doing full clear and not ganking or pressuring anywhere, and you only do that generally on farming junglers. How to deal with Master Yi? Hopefully he doesn't get fed early on, but if he does, you try to CC him later on and have people build around it and run exhaust. Have someone run exhaust. Exhaust destroys Master Yi, forcing him to build QSS for it. But then you just layer your CC then if he QSS the exhaust. You gonna do one of these for support? I did support last week already. I did AD and support, and then I had a whole session dedicated to support. I'm not sure if you can find it though, but you can try typing in ProGuides Saskio support, and it might show up as unlisted. I don't know, but if it's unlisted, it probably won't show up. I'll answer 3 more questions. And it'll actually be 3 questions. Last time I said that, I answered like 12 questions right after that. 3 questions. What time will the junglers show up bot lane after the standard 310 gank top? They could retreat into the jungle, do 1 more camp, and then reset go bot, but generally they'll reset go bot, do gromp, then gank you. So probably around 4 minutes and 10 seconds. 4 minute 15 is like when bot lanes should be playing safe. How can you carry when all your lanes hard lose and feed? If you're playing jungle and all your lanes lost, then you made a mistake. 1 lane should be winning if you're playing jungle. Every time, no matter what. Or if that lane is still losing even though you're over ganking that lane, then you should be winning. So then you should find your way to carry. You cannot blame your teammates if they're hard losing. Because you should be finding the lead before it snowballs out of control. You should snowball yourself out of control. What's up, Games Hunter? How you doing, my man? If you're playing a scaling jungler, how do you make an impact early game? Like, there are some champions that can impact early game, even though they scale. So champions like Nocturne, like you can find an overextended person and then run them down. Same as Master Yi, like with red buff, like if someone's overextended, you can find them and just run them down with red buff and Qs. And like Rengar too, like a level 6 jungler, like Rengar's like at level 3, he's like a mini Elise if you have 4 stacks and you're running in for a gank. Before the 4 stacks run out, you want to chuck your E, so it's like a mini Elise gank. Check damage? Alrighty. Woo! God damn. Alright. But, alright guys, that'll be it for me today. My name is Tony Chow, also known as Saskio. And make sure you guys follow me on Twitch or Twitter, dash and then Saskio LOL relative to that site. Make sure you guys check out ProGuides.com. They have coaches on there, and I'm actually getting back into coaching on there. So if you're interested, you can get personalized coaching from me. You can find my name and then send me a DM, and we can hash out all the details and go from there. So make sure you guys check that out on ProGuides.com. Otherwise, today that was my jungle lesson. Next week I'll be doing EU games, and I'll do 1 EU game, 1 NA game. And I will see what I want to discuss next week. I don't want to do mid lane just yet. I'm probably going to nail down AD carry in one of them. And then I will probably go back to top lane because I wanted a high quality top lane game, which didn't happen yesterday because of DC. But yeah, we'll do AD carry and top lane probably next week. But that is it for me, guys. My name's Tony Chow, and that's me signing out. Have a good day, guys.